Welcome to the On Purpose Investor Podcast, show number 75. Welcome to the On Purpose Investor Podcast. My name is Eric Vogel. I'm a real estate investor, mastermind coach, husband to an amazing woman, and often my co-host, Tiffany, and father to two incredible boys. I'm on a mission to help you become a real estate investor and not only achieve seven-figure success like my wife and I did, but to do so with intention, direction, and clarity. If you want to transform your financial and personal goals, become the version of yourself you've always wanted, and reach your dream life ASAP, then you're in the right place. Thank you for deciding to hit that play button today. Now let's begin. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the On Purpose Investor Podcast, show number 75, where we're talking about how to get everything you have ever wanted. So we're diving in today to the four main factors that will separate you from where you are right now to living your dream life and having everything you've ever wanted.
Yeah, I think when we were starting in our real estate journey and really trying to figure out, like, what do we want out of life? It started when we started dating. And we realized, like, if we're going to, build a life together, like, what do we want that to look like?
Shoot. And just looking back on it, how inundated with, misbeliefs, all of the mental framework that we had learned all the way up to that point.
Yeah, let's talk about one of those. You believed firmly in the Vogel curse.
The Vogel curse was alive and well until I realized it wasn't.
Yeah, it used to drive me nuts. So anytime anything remotely bad happened, it was the Vogel curse. And to me, by letting this thing exist, you're just asking for bad things to happen to you because your subconscious wants to affirm that belief that you guys are cursed. So bad things would continue to happen.
And we're talking about just like the normal, oh, my tire blew out. Oh, it's the Vogel curse. Right. Or, I didn't realize this was coming out of my bank account. I overdrew.
How about going fishing with your buddy and his kids and running out of battery?
And then having to paddle our way to shore and hitch a ride to a town over 20 minutes away. And they're baking on the boat in the middle of the lake. And I'm trying to get a new battery. And yeah, the Vogel curse.
Yeah, but it was all like a lack of planning and like forethought on your part.
Well, looking back on everything that you could say the Vogel curse was, it was some type of action or inaction on my part. And my father firmly believes it. And there are other people in our family that firmly believe it. And it's really all self-inflicted.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really is. Either it's a lack of knowledge or lack of planning. Or a
just
lack
like
of
awareness. Like, you should have known you guys were going to run out of battery on that boat.
Well, when you troll the motor for 4 hours straight, it's not going to live forever.
Right.
And when you go to start the motor, it's not going to have enough juice.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. Fun fact.
Fun facts.
But back to it. Like, we had an opportunity because we were just getting together of what did we want life to look like. And I was working my corporate job. You were working as a band director.
Yep.
And, we talked about having a family, and you had a rental that you were completely mismanaging. And
I managed it so poorly.
I thought you were going to say, well, I was going to slap you.
I was. And then I was like, let's just be honest.
Like thousands of dollars in cash sitting in the garage waiting for you to go pick it up.
Listen, it was the Bank of Vogel in the garage. Just wasn't gaining interest and had zero FDIC.
Right. And yeah, it could have gotten stolen. The tenant could have not been putting it there. Like, you were all over the place.
I was a poor landlord.
And I was like, there's got to be a way to have this automatically sent to us. And then we found bigger pockets, and
the rest is pretty much history.
We were like, well, we could do this for a living and then have flexibility to be with our kids as we grow our family. And we sat out back of our house and had a fire going and came up with the idea for our business. And that was how many years ago now?
Oh, that was about 6 years ago now.
Yeah.
So I didn't ever think about it this way. When I built that fire pit down there, I was thinking of just having a fire pit.
Yeah.
I didn't really necessarily build it with intention to grow necessarily, but as I was building it, and I'm just now remembering this, like, and in this moment, like I was, shoveling out the dirt, and I was pouring in the pea stones, and I was building the fire pit. I was like, there could be opportunities for some real peace in this place. There could be real opportunities for real growth in this place, and didn't really understand that I was manifesting something big. Yeah. I was building with intention, didn't know I was,
right,
and didn't realize that intentional building of an environment. Mm-hmm. When I built out the basement here in our home, I built it with so much intention of, this is a place to be creative. This is a place to add value. This is a place to come retreat into growth. And I know now how building things with intention can really it's like planting a seed of some type of fruit tree or some type of food that is going to keep giving and giving and giving. It's going to feed you forever, so long as you nurture it. And that's what I feel like happens in this basement. But also did not realize I was doing that with our fire pit.
Yeah.
And that gave way to where we are now.
Right. But I mean, sitting around that fire pit were a lot of conversations of how many houses would it take for us to leave our jobs? And the band director career path is working for a little bit of money, mm-hmm. especially when you look at the $1 per hour rate.
Exactly.
And the band program you were working, I think we calculated it was like $4 or $5 an hour, if that.
I was making half of what minimum wage is.
Yeah. Per hour, because you work so many hours, especially in marching season.
And that's the curse of being salaried,
right?
In a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
You know, they just worry about the output. They don't worry about the input.
Right.
You know, are you achieving what your contract says you'll achieve? They don't care about the hours that you work. So,
well, and you know, band shifted from when we were kids, because when we were in high school, it was pretty much you had football season, mm-hmm. and then it was done. But they've added this new thing that's January through April.
Yeah.
And it basically, actually, it's probably December through April, really.
Mm-hmm. It is.
And it's year round. And then your summers were spent doing military stuff.
Yeah.
So you were working just insane.
I was working 13 months out of the year.
So sitting on this fire pit, we started dreaming and had this goal of leaving our jobs.
Yeah.
And the first principle that really helped us was we dreamed big.
Yeah. That's the number one principle of achieving everything you ever want in life.
It's shooting for the impossible.
It is.
And we were dating. I don't think we were even engaged.
Right.
But we knew we wanted a family relatively soon after getting married. So we set a goal that when we are ready for our first kid, I wanted to be able to leave my job so I could stay home. Fun fact, I did not enjoy being a stay-at-home mom, but
that was the target. We got there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had left because we realized you could make more by saving us money on our projects and starting a handyman business. That's a whole nother story. But we realized you could make more doing that than you were making teaching.
Right.
So it was easy for you to leave because it was a net gain for us.
It was.
But when I left, it was, okay, now we don't have the steady paycheck, but we were comfortable with the rentals. And the only reason we made some shifts at the very end of that time period that allowed me to leave. Literally the day my maternity pay ended.
Right.
We hit our number. And so I think we set an impossible goal. We didn't realize that people don't find financial freedom in 3.5 years is what we did?
No, most people don't. Usually it's because there's so many factors in many people's lives of kids and family and other obligations that the process really takes 5 to 10 years.
Right. But we didn't know better. So we just said, you know what, this is what we want. And we made it happen. And things lined up for us in a way that made it possible. But if we had known, it's more realistic to do it over 10 years, well, we probably would have set a 10-year goal.
Yeah. But
not knowing that, we shot for the stars and we achieved it. So if you want financial freedom in 3 years, set that as your target. It might seem impossible.
And then back into it.
Right. But it's not going to happen if you don't shoot for it. And the decisions that we made along the way set us up for being there in 3.5 years.
Right. And there are 3 quick little, exercises you can do to get you to start dreaming big. One of them is to journal about Are you so focused on immediate needs that you haven't thought about your needs next year, next 3 years, or next 10 years? A lot of us live paycheck to paycheck. A lot of us live in the moment and for the moment. We all have little goals of, I want to live in a newer house one day, or I would like to have a newer car, or when the new iPhone comes out, I would like to have that. And those are benchmark goals. Those are not life goals. And so one thing I would encourage you to focus and journal on is, are you focused on those immediate needs, those immediate goals, and not really forecasting where your life could go in 3, 5, or 10 years?
Well, and I think, you hear the advice of don't get Starbucks every day. And yes, that absolutely adds up. But the bigger purchases, like buying an expensive car or moving into a more expensive house, those are thousands of dollars a month that you could be putting into your business or your future.
That's right.
So I think for us, like, it was easy to delay having nicer vehicles or having the bigger home because we knew we had this immediate goal that we wanted to hit.
Yeah.
And I mean, we lived in a camper for 6 months because our goal was so important to us and we wanted to make it happen.
Yeah. I mean, you look at us, and if you take a look at our financials, net worth multimillionaires, but if you look at what we drive and sometimes what we live in and a lot of times like what we wear, I mean, I'm self-implied the tracksuit millionaire. I'm going to maybe create an Instagram on that, but
is it just going to be pictures of you in a tracksuit?
Possibly.
I think we need to rework this.
This is Eric climbing a tree in a tracksuit. So, we delayed gratification so much that only yesterday Tiffany finally got her dream car.
Yeah.
And it's nothing crazy glamorous, but it's exactly what you envision as your dream car.
Well, not exactly, because the car I really wanted, they stopped making a long time ago.
That's true. But it'll work.
Oh, it's great. It's better than what I envisioned.
Yeah.
But there's so many things we have delayed purchasing.
Mm-hmm.
And with some moves we have made by doing this 1031 exchange into our Airbnb and things like that, we are in a spot now where we can do some of these things that we have delayed.
Yeah.
And it's been totally worth it because our son just turned 3. So for 3 years, we have not had to work a 9-to-5 job.
Right.
You even longer than that. And would you have rather worked a 9-to-5 or longer as a band director and have, a nicer car and nicer jewelry and I don't know, all the new iPhones and all that stuff.
Even more tracksuits.
Yeah. Stop. Or would you have rather had, not had all those things and have the time freedom so that if you want to finish this podcast recording and go hang out with the kids, we could go do that right now.
Right. Except to have to move your grandmother.
Yeah, good luck. And not physically move her. She's moving into a new place.
She's mobile, but she can't move her stuff.
Yes.
Fair enough. All right. So the number 2 thing on the art of dreaming big is, do you stop yourself from having unrealistic dreams because you feel like it's never going to happen? And sometimes it really can happen.
Dream Crusher.
If you ever seen The Good Dinosaur on Disney, it's worth it, even if you don't have kids.
It's a great movie.
There's this creature that comes out of the woods. His name is Dream Crusher, and he's got all of these little animals.
Is he? No, he's not Dream Crusher. One of the one of the little characters. But he's a dinosaur, and he's got all these little birds and critters on him.
Yeah, and each one of them represents some type of fear or some type of protection.
It was something that keeps him safe.
Yeah.
And he keeps me from having unrealistic dreams.
Yeah.
Is what one of them was.
He said, this one's name is Dream Crusher. He keeps me from having unrealistic dreams. And, there's a lot of people out there that say, I don't set goals and I don't set dreams or, big, goals like that, because if I don't set them, it's no way I'll fail at achieving them. Right. So I'll always just be happy.
Well, you grew up in a single wide trailer.
Yeah.
Did you ever think what you've achieved would have been possible?
Absolutely not.
Right. But having big dreams made it happen.
That's right.
If you didn't dream for any of this and just said, I guess I'm just going to, you going to college was a big deal.
It was.
So you going on the path that you did, even just making that decision to go to college, changed your whole trajectory.
Yeah.
And I mean, you applied literally after the deadline and barely got into school.
It was an event.
So I guess I'm just saying, if Eric can do it, anyone can do it.
That is so true. And we'll get into a little bit of how to have more unrealistic dreams, because they actually can be realistic. So don't throttle yourself on that.
Well, it's almost, if you can dream it, then it's possible.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't possible, you would not be able to have the thought of doing it.
Right.
And if you see people around you accomplishing those goals, then it's possible for you too. There's no reason it's not available for everyone.
Yeah. Well, the third, activity that you can do on dreaming big is journaling about, are you allowing your current situation to define where your future will go? Yeah. 5 years ago, either you dreamt about it or you didn't dream about it, but you were essentially writing the check for where you are today. And that is something we do every single day. Where you are right now, you are forecasting where you're going to be in 3 to 5 years. Your daily action is telling you what you're going to be doing. So if you go about your day-to-day doing the exact same thing every day, expect to be in the exact same place 5 years from now. So if you want to learn more about Bitcoin, if you want to learn more about investing in the stock market or being a real estate investor or starting your own business, there's no way you're going to achieve that and be that unless you start learning it and living it.
Yeah, I think the advice that I've heard like in the past week is the person who has the thing that I want, what are they doing every day? And like, I know for me, I get caught up in the spreadsheets. I know that's not a problem you face, but I live and breathe by what's in the spreadsheets, and that helps me make decisions. And I was thinking about it, and it's like, a person that has the things that I want to have doesn't worry about the spreadsheets because there's enough in the bank to cover all the expenses.
Yeah.
And there's not a balance of making sure constantly that everything's getting paid. Everything's on auto pay, and there's just money in the bank that covers all of it. Mm-hmm. And it's me trying to exert control and feel safe by looking at the spreadsheets. So I used to keep 3 or 4 spreadsheets always open on my computer, and I've shut them down, and I look at them about once a week now. And it's really, what is that future version of myself who has no concern about money? What does that person do? Yeah. And it's not checking the spreadsheets in the bank account all the time.
So even at the level we're at, which is not where we ultimately want to be, even at the level we're at, we were allowing our current situation to define our future.
Yeah. Well, and it was probably more our past situation.
Yeah.
In fear of not having enough to cover the mortgages, because you have a renovation going and you're using every penny to get that house renovated so that we could then do a refinance and pull the cash out.
Yeah.
So we were living hand to mouth a lot as we were building, because every penny was going into the business.
Exactly.
And as soon as something would sell or refinance, we would pay down the debt and then start over again. That's right. Build up the reserves and then start over again.
Yeah. And we did that.
And that's how we built. But we're not currently in that situation.
Thank God.
Right. And in the future, we're not going to be in that situation. So why am I continuing to act like we're still there?
Yeah.
And I think it's holding me back from reaching my next level.
Yeah.
So I just have stopped looking at the spreadsheet. So what is the thing you're doing that the future version of yourself doesn't do? And can you cut that out so that you're not perpetuating your current situation?
Absolutely. Gosh, that was deep. That was good. Thank you for sharing. That was so good.
Is this AA now?
So the next big factor on, getting everything you've ever wanted is developing BHAGs. So BHAGs comes from the book Built to Last by Jim Collins and Jerry Porras. And BHAG stands for
Big, Hairy, Audacious Goals.
There you go. That's a hard word, isn't it? Audacious.
Well, the way I learned it was another word. Big, Hairy,
Easy now. This is a PG show.
I know. Yeah.
So what is a BHAG? Well, that is the art of having unrealistic dreams, but they're not unrealistic, like Tiffany said. If you can dream it, it is possible. But they are BHAGs. They are big and hairy and audacious.
Kind of scary.
Yes.
Like, if I reach this, what does that mean? Like, it's a little intimidating, and it puts you a little bit out of your comfort zone, because you're like, I can't do this.
Yeah, and a lot of people do not associate like really big goals with what comes with it. They just think about, what does it give me?
Yeah.
They say, I want $1 million a year in income. Well, A, are you going to be a good steward of that money? Are you going to know how to spend it, fruitfully? Also, when you make that much money, you're doing something to earn it.
Right.
And there's going to be a lot of baggage that comes with that. Are you going to be prepared to
solve the problems? Yeah. I heard something the other day on a podcast, and it was, people say they want $1 million in the bank. And she said, if I gave you $1 million tomorrow and it sat in your bank account and you couldn't touch it, couldn't do anything with it, it just sat in your bank account, would that solve your problem? You asked for $1 million in the bank. No, you want what that money will give you.
Yeah.
So having very clear goals on what it is you want and shooting for the stars, going for that big goal and knowing, okay, I want this thing and here's what it's going to take. And like you said, you're not going to wind up with 100 house portfolio overnight or a $10 million business overnight, because you're not ready for the problems that come with that. You need to learn and grow and put the systems in. But setting that goal is the first step towards getting it.
Exactly.
So start with the big vision and dreaming big, and then set a 3 to 5 year goal on how you want to get that. And then we, talk about the roadmap.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a 3-year vision that you build of what do you want your life to look like?
Yeah.
And we just reviewed our 3-year vision, and it prompted us to make a couple shifts. We should have been reviewing it a lot more than we had, but a lot, kids and a lot of shifts happened for us. But that 3-year vision, a lot of stuff was not what we were working towards, but some of it is eerily like where we're at now.
Yeah.
And it was things that got backburnered because of having kids and moving and just, the way our life has been.
But it's almost like subconsciously we were working on it because we had forecasted
it.
And although we weren't actively working on some of those things in our 3-year roadmap, we achieved them.
Right.
Because they were, written down. They were given attention.
Mm-hmm.
They were broken down into yearly, quarterly, and bite-sized chunks. And whether we knew it or not, we were achieving them along the way.
Yeah. It's really odd how it just kind of happened without us really trying.
Yeah. And, that's just our experience of 6 years of doing this roadmap work. We never once worried about how we were going to achieve stuff. Never, it's going to be hard to not do that.
Right.
When you first build out your roadmap and you write down your year 3, what are you doing day to day? What does your day look like? How do you wake up? What is your interaction with your people around you? Who is around you?
Yeah.
All of the things that break down into what does year 3 look like. And you're going to start automatically thinking, well, how do I do that?
Right.
How do I get to that place? Well, you don't have to worry about that. Go into year 2. What does year 2 scaffold into year 3? And how does year 1 scaffold into year 2? And then break that down into what do I need to do today to start getting to that point?
Well, I think it's when you're in the dreaming phase of it, don't worry about how.
Right.
Say what you want and why do you want it?
Mm-hmm.
I want $1 million so I can do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
That's the what and the why. The who and the how comes later. And the who in this is who's going to execute on it.
Right.
Definitely think about who you want in your life and, things like that. But we are in the process of hiring someone to come on and help us as we're growing. And there's so many things that it's like, I don't have time to do this, but I know this person will be able to do it. And I don't think 3 years ago, we thought we'd have a team to help us.
No. I was even 3 years ago, I was stuck in, oh my gosh, we need an integrator. We need, a social media manager. We need this type of person on our team. How are we going to pay for that?
Right.
How are we going to do that? And now we're in the spot of, oh my gosh, we have to have this person right now.
Or we can't grow.
Or we can't grow anymore.
Right.
Like we are capped at where we are right now.
Absolutely. So we had a vision for what we wanted in our business and our life. But if we had gotten caught up in how are we going to afford this and, who's going to do it, people have come into our life in the strangest way of late. And it's like people we've known, but it's just lined up where conversations have happened right when we need help. And
well, then tell them also about what you manifested to make that happen.
What part?
The card that you drew, that help is coming at the right time.
Yeah. So I was playing around with some tarot cards and had a card literally that said help will come at the right time. And later that day, well, let me back up a little bit. I was looking over my Q1 goals for next year and realized some decisions I had made in my fractional CFO business. I was not going to be able to sustain what my goals were because of some shifts I made in how I want to propose my business plan. And I was like, crap, I'm not going to be able to do this. Like, I set this goal and I think it's going to happen, but I can't execute on it. How am I going to do this? And then I drew that card. And then probably 3 or 4 hours later, I get a phone call from an old mentor and coworker in finance who said he's, getting laid off. And we had been chatting for a couple months about what I'm doing. And he's been very interested in it. And he said, I would love to learn more about what you're doing. And we did like a 2-hour call. And at the end, he's like, can I just come on and work for you? And my long-term vision was always to call him the minute I was ready to hire someone.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready, but I wanted to have the business ready, up and running, like all the systems worked out, get all the junk cleared up, but he's ready to go. So the plan is, as I'm bringing on clients, he's going to shadow me and eventually start taking on his own clients way sooner than I had ever planned.
Yeah.
But it's in a way that I can continue to grow the business because he'll be taking on some clients. I'll take on a couple. And we have another friend who's interested potentially in coming on to help. So I'm like kind of building up a bench of people to help in a way that I don't think I could have ever predicted.
Yeah.
And for them, it's an opportunity for them to work fewer hours than they're working in their full-time job, making similar pay and, having the flexibility to run their life without and exercising their finance skills. And they don't want to just retire, they want to continue working, but not necessarily in the context they have been. So it's a lot of doors opening for me and for them all at the same time. And it's just been really neat to see. I could have never envisioned it growing the way that I foresee now when we set that vision 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been really wild and awesome to see it explode.
Yeah,
and this is only just the beginning.
Right. I mean, we're maybe a month into the plans on this, like from concept to execution. And it's already the like feeling I had is I had to figure out infrastructure because growth is coming in the new year. Yeah. And without a whole lot of effort on my part, the infrastructure has fallen into place. And it's insane how some of it has happened. I get a connection with someone who has a finance background and sales. Yeah. And he might come on as my salesperson. Still need to chat with him about it. He doesn't know what I have planned, but it's like, I'm just kind of saying, okay, this is the next thing I need for the business. And then the next day I'm getting a message on where that's going to come from. Yeah. So I'm focused on what I need and why I need it. Mm-hmm. And the rest is just kind of falling into place.
The how is just coming to you. Yeah. And that's what you'll see when you start implementing a roadmap. So at the end of it all, why does it all matter? Yeah. It's one of the biggest things that I focus on in my course, Dream Life University, is why. Yeah. And it's such a huge concept for people to unravel. Why is something important? Well, a lot of people give a one response answer, but there always a deeper seated reason why things are so important. Why are you laughing?
Because we've hit the stage of why with our 3-year-old.
We have, oh gosh.
Why is that car there? Because they're driving. Why are they driving? Because they need to go somewhere. Why do they need to go somewhere? Like
everything gets down to it.
It's probably about 10. And then we're finally like, buddy, I don't know. Like I can't answer why they're going that way on the road. Like
we don't know where they live. We don't know what
I know. And who lives there? I don't know. It's just a random house on the side of the road.
Why?
Right. Why don't you know them?
Why does it all matter? Yeah. Why does any of this matter? Well, it really depends up to you. And it's important for you to uncover why all of this matters to you. You're listening to the show right now. with some type of hope, with some type of goal. Maybe you want to learn investing. Maybe you want to learn how to live your dream life, or maybe you just like hearing the sounds of Tiffany and Eric. But there's a reason why you're listening to this show. So I really encourage you to just write down on a sheet of paper, why do I want more from my life?
Yeah, I think so many people just live day to day
They do.
and don't think about the direction they want their life to head. And if you can really think about what you truly want, not what does your spouse want, what does your kids want, like focus on what you want.
Right.
It's going to lead to a more fulfilled life for you and secondarily everyone around you, because if you're living in your purpose,
they're going to see
everyone else is going to be happier around you.
Yeah. And you might even rub off on them and start seeing more people in your community start living within their purpose.
Yeah.
So, I just encourage you to take some time to journal on why do you want more and what is that going to give you? And, who is it going to affect? How does it benefit you and your close family? And why does it really matter? So it does take true work to uncover your true why without, with peeling all the layers back. And the program that we have, Dream Life University, does that step for step for you. It's about a 6 to 8 week course that is self-guided. It is available immediately as soon as you purchase it for you to just start digging in to your dream life. And we walk you through step by step on how to build a roadmap and how to implement the things that it'll take for you to get you from where you are to where you truly want to be. And it'll also help you figure out where do you truly want to be. And as a New Year special, I want to offer the first 20 people to send me the DM change $50 off their purchase of Dream Life University. So with this program, it is, like I said, a 6 to 8 week program that is self-guided. You'll get a manual where you can start jotting down all of the notes. It's guided through the manual as well. So don't hesitate. Send me that DM now on Instagram or Facebook, change. Or you can also send it by email to eric@onpurposeinvestor.com. To find the sales page for Dream Life University, visit our
website.
Visit our website, onpurposeinvestor.com, and go to work with us and click on Dream Life University. It'll also be in the show notes for this episode.
Yeah. I want to add, Eric says to journal on things. And for me, I know, I've heard that for a long time. And it's like, well, I don't know what to journal on. And it's like, even sometimes having a prompt, it's like, this is dumb. But I've noticed, as I'm writing, so many thoughts come to me, and then I can jump back and forth because you see it on the paper.
Right.
And if you want more out of life, having this guided, it's education, it's learning the concepts, but it's also a lot of internal work of what do you want? And it's prompts to get you there. It guides you in a way that I think we didn't have that. Right. And we were very fortunate that our minds kind of worked that way already, of looking towards the bigger picture. But I think if we had someone very intentionally say, what do you want out of life? Mm-hmm. And it changed, but at least it got us on this path to the direction of where we are now.
Exactly.
And we both, with the new ventures we're undertaking, with you really digging into Dream Life University and some of the other things you have coming in the works, and me building out the CFO business, we are living in our purpose.
Yeah.
In a way that we haven't before.
Exactly.
And I know for me, working with clients and helping them uncover what's going on in their financials lights me up. I'm great at it. I offer a ton of value, and seeing the transformation in them gives me so much purpose.
Yeah.
And as we are both uncovering our deeper purpose, it's really fun to see people that have been through Dream Life doing the same thing.
Oh my gosh. And my first iteration of Dream Life, of the students that took it, more than half of them have completely changed their life.
Yeah.
And completely changed their trajectory, but not just for them, but for future generations.
Absolutely.
And it's just so incredibly exciting to see them building wealth and changing the course of their life.
Yeah. Well, it's not just the financial stuff though.
Right.
They're living and doing the things that they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And are on the way towards being financially free, but in the process, they're uncovering more of where they want to go in a way that I don't think they knew before. They were comfortable with their lives, but going through the program really opened them up to the possibilities. Exactly. And I want that. You want that for everyone, because when you find what you really want and start working towards it, something magical happens, and all of a sudden things line up for you. Like we were just talking about in my business, I'm living in my purpose and God's lining things up so that I can continue doing that.
Exactly.
And once you find what that purpose is, and it's not something you figure out overnight, it's been a very constant, iterative process for us.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get there until you start trying.
That's right.
And I mean, Dream Life University is a very affordable program that has huge value and transformation.
Yeah. And if you want to really change what 2024 looks like, and, you know, you want to make some type of resolution, let me help you make that resolution through Dream Life University. You will see change so long as you put in the work.
Absolutely.
And you will start living a different life and chasing the right goals in 2024. You know, this could be your year. You know, everyone says, this is my year. This is my year to get in shape. This is my year to make money. This is my year to change everything. It is truly possible, and you can really make it happen through Dream Life University. Absolutely. So like I said, the first 20 people to send me the DM change, I'm going to give you $50 off coupon for the whole package of Dream Life University. This includes lifetime access and any and all future updates to the program, as well as access to the private community of Dream Life University students.
All right.
So I wish you, I wish you well and a happy new year, and, you know, just wish you all the success and, you know, living within your dream life and living within your purpose within this new year. And I say, God bless you. And thank you for joining us on this episode.
Yeah, thanks.
We are immensely grateful for you joining us today. If you haven't already done so, we invite you to subscribe to our show. We understand that many of you tune in regularly, but perhaps haven't had the chance to hit that subscribe button yet. Don't worry, it's effortless. It takes about 3 seconds to follow or subscribe on your platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're enjoying the show. Your support is invaluable to us and has played a crucial role in the tremendous growth of our podcast. We sincerely appreciate your assistance in any way, shape, or form. Together, we can launch this podcast to even greater heights.